Hello, everybody, and welcome to Kyrus Has Friends. My name is Kyrus, and today we are sitting with a very, very close friend of mine. But before we get to him, if you are interested in anything that you're watching right now, please be sure to follow me on Facebook and on Instagram at The Vibe with Kai. You can also follow me on TikTok and Snapchat at Kyrus Keenan. And you can get your Vibe with Kai merchandise. Yes, we have a store. Go me at thevibewithkai.com. If you act right now, you can get 15% taken off of your stuff. We got t-shirts and hats and aprons, all the kind of shit that you would want. We have it, thevibewithkai.com. But enough about me. We are sitting here with a very special guest today, a good friend of mine, somebody that I've known for quite some time. This is a wonderful human being that I've gotten to work with. I guess at this point it's been like 10, 15 years. I feel like
years easy.
It's been a while, but he has a new comedy out right now, a new comedy album out called Impossible Human. It is available on iTunes and Spotify, and I think it's on Tidal as well, and on Apple Music, all of that stuff. He's also the host of All in Our Heads podcast. Joe Fernandes. What's up, man?
What's up, buddy? I'm used to applause. I'm used to performing live when they intro my name.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's going to be the first thing I ask you. So you are a stand-up comedian.
Yes.
And stand-up comedians are known for standing up live in front of an audience and performing and getting that live reaction feedback from the audience. Obviously, I'm not sure if you heard or not, but there is a deadly virus going on outside where we're told that we need to stay indoors. With that said, you being a stand-up comedian,
tell me more about this virus.
Dude, it's crazy. I just learned about it.
It's out there now?
It's out there now. It's on Wikipedia, dude. It's nothing but truth.
I was just making out with strangers in the street. Oh, my God. I can't believe.
Sounds like a nice Philly to me. So Mr. Stand-up comedian, how are you doing in quarantine?
Overall good, you know what I mean? Like, I remember saying early on in quarantine, it's like, I'm basically living a stand-up comedian's life. You hang out all day, kind of do nothing, and then you go do your show at night, but there's no show at night. Now I'm doing Zooms, and podcasts, and I have to hang around my family. I used to not be around them, and now
you're stuck with them. Do you find yourself getting more material because of this whole quarantine? And do you find yourself just for writing even more?
Well, it's weird because not really, because like you're not. I feel like I'm on pause. You know what I mean? So like I feel like anything I write, everyone's writing.
Right.
The same things. Like, what do you write about? Sitting at home, ordering food online, like. I mean, the only thing I'm currently writing on that I like is how I feel like I'll never come back home.
Never again. Like, this is it.
Yeah. Like if you thought I was gone a lot before quarantine.
Have you learned new things about your family since quarantine began?
Yeah. I had no idea how much my wife sang when she was doing things. Like there was a lot of songs are accompanying like what she's doing, a lot of 80s songs, but she almost gets the lyrics right, which is frustrating. So it's like she'll start off good, you're like, oh, I know that song, then it'll just tail off, and you're like, what are we doing here? But the amount of singing is what's puzzling.
Now do you find does she is it reversed? Is there things that you do that your wife is like, why are you doing that she didn't even point out before, but now that you're around each other all the time, that you're like, oh, what is this? What's going on?
No, because I have this office in the back with my podcasting studio and stuff, and I just kind of live in here now. So to her, I'm still on the road. I still kind of get up and I'm like, I'll see you later.
Oh my God. So, what is it's funny because you mentioned being on the road, right? So I know that some of the best stories that I hear from stand-up comedians are when they're out on the road and just going to various places around the country and meeting all these crazy people. And I'm always interested to see if there's a town that you went to that you're like, you know what, if I never do stand-up there ever again, that's okay. You can say anywhere in New Jersey, I understand.
A town. I don't know. I'm like the type that, like, when I'm on the road, I like to go just I mean, I've been in boring towns, you know, like
right.
You know, I'm like that middle comedy level where you're not really going to the great towns. Like the clubs I'm at are like 50 miles outside the good city. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like that's where I'm at. It's like the big name acts are in the city. They'll be like, oh, you're like, what was it? One time I got a gig. They said, hey, you want to come perform at this convention? And what I thought they said was San Antonio, Texas.
Oh no.
Hell yeah, San Antonio. Go see the Riverwalk. I just
Right.
everything.
Is
No,
it
but
the Alamo?
when
Look at all.
when I got the contract to sign it, it was San Angelo, Texas,
Oh my sweet lord.
which is like very like on the west part of Texas. And the only thing going on in San Angelo that night was the convention I was at.
Oh no.
And but like it was such a last minute gig. I could only fly into Dallas and drive, and it
Oh
was
my
like a
lord.
very long drive through like stretches of desert, and then like a little town would appear, like a movie set, like with a barber. You're like, where am I?
That usually doesn't end well for black people, by the way. So I hope that you enjoyed it.
Yeah. I there wasn't a lot at the show. I'll put it that way.
So now because you and I we go way back because we used to perform together at a show called the Parental Advisory Comedy Show, which took place at the mecca dare I say the mecca of stand-up comedy, Mercer County Community College. Do you remember those days?
Dude, not only do I remember those days, I look back on those days fondly as like some of my favorites in comedy because we were all kind of new to comedy, just starting out, and there's no pressure. It was just we were all trying to figure it out. It was like super creative, and just people going up and doing anything any night. I mean, that show you had comedians, you had weird people just doing weird like shit. You're like, I don't even know what to classify this as. Like you had poets, musicians, and then I think there was a category called other shit that named that.
I'm pretty sure.
And people really did other shit. And you're like,
they did.
I don't know what you're gonna do with this, but keep going.
And we ended up doing it for a couple years. And here's the crazy thing. This is why this is crazy right now because obviously there's a lot of theaters that are shut down right now that just obviously you can't perform. I literally, no lie, got an email. This is after I asked you to come on the show today. I got an email from the artistic director of the theater that we performed at, asking if we wanted to do that show again. And
Advisory show? Oh,
that had to be 2000 and oh gosh, 2005, 2006.
Yeah, easy.
I was a young white girl then. It was a long time ago.
You were a young white girl, man.
Blonde hair and everything.
You were a young Don Cheadle.
I get Darius Rucker now. I went from Don Cheadle to Darius Rucker, and I'm not sure whether that's a compliment or not.
Yeah, you're Darius Rucker on CrossFit.
I'll tell you if I can have his money, I'll take that. I'll tell you that.
Oh hell yeah, yeah.
Now is it?
Do they still run that shit at the Mercer County College, that open mic? I mean, before COVID.
Oh, you're talking about late night series.
Oh, that's what I was talking about when I was talking about the other shit, the late night series.
Oh, yeah, we performed there too. Yes.
I bunched those together because it was like all the same people.
Because it was like, oh God, that was oh my Lord. Yeah, that was 2005, 2006. We're old now, Joe.
Yeah.
Like,
but I love that theater, that Mercer County Theater. Beautiful.
Yeah. It's gorgeous. Now, given the world that we live in now, right? And I don't mean just like right now in this second, but just over the last, I would say like 5 years especially, do you find that it's a little bit more difficult to do certain types of jokes now than you would do back in 2005?
I don't experience it a lot in the club. I feel like, I don't know, for whatever reason, very rarely in a comedy club on the road have I ever see audiences really offended by things.
Right.
To me, that seems more like an online thing.
Yeah.
Or something where, I mean, you get it occasionally, but it's typically like one person. You're like, who cares? Everyone else was laughing. Get a life. You know? Like,
do you have to deal with hecklers a lot?
Hecklers?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like, I mean, I don't know. There's mainly drunk women typically are the hecklers.
Right.
You know, like I had a drunk woman one time. You know, they're kind of funny. She was so drunk, she was shushing herself for being so loud. That's how she's like, shh. I'm like, who are you shushing? And she's like, myself. I'm like, that you're beyond the limit when you're shushing yourself loudly in the front row.
I think that's the one thing that I give professional comics props for, because that's something I could never do, is deal with a heckler, but still keep the audience engaged in a way that doesn't take them out of the moment and still find it funny. It's like still entertain, yet still deal with this a-hole that's just kind of pretty much trying to ruin the show.
Well, it takes a lot of time to learn how to, like,
Yeah.
I've done it poorly.
Yeah.
I mean, at the beginning, I didn't know how to do it at all. People would heckle me. They'd be like, "You suck." I'm like, "I agree with you," and then I would.
In my defense, Joe, the joke wasn't funny, so I just had to yell it out.
Yeah. I mean, you know what? If that's fine by me. But like sometimes you can be too mean, like you come off too mean. So I try to be playful.
Yeah.
To a point, and then it's like after a while, if you're playful enough and they're still annoying, even the crowd will be with you.
Right.
You say, "Go fuck yourself." Sometimes if they do it once and you say it, nobody heard it. You just look like you had a meltdown. You're like, what happened to this guy? He's not rap tight.
Right. Wait. So I'm always curious. So like, obviously you have the hecklers, but I feel like I mean, at least from my perspective, some of the most intimidating times is when I would have to perform for like my friends, like the people that knew that I do stand-up comedy, but maybe not have like seen me do stand-up before. Do you ever like? I mean, it's probably not at this point now because everybody, like your friends, pretty much know what you do. But like when you were first starting out, when you had friends come to see one of your shows, did you feel a little bit more pressure to perform?
I still
better?
do.
Yeah,
I still do. It's brutal. I'll tell new comics, don't let your family or friends see you for 4 years. Like easy. It's like just keep a secret what you're doing. Just you know, whatever. But like my mother. What was it last year? My mother came to a show.
Yeah.
I'm headlining. She goes, she's coming with like. It turned into like an Ancestry.com meetup of my family. It was like she was at a table like 30 people I've never met before, cousins of cousins of cousins.
Oh my God.
And it was just, and they were it was a weeknight show they came to.
Oh man.
So they were most of the audience.
Yeah.
So it's just like, I mean, because you're you on stage, but you're like a different version of you. So you feel like a fool being like this to your family. Because they know that's not really you.
Right.
So you can't even, it's not like I don't do a character, but I'm not really me. I don't know how to explain it, but it's uncomfortable.
Right. What's funny, I think I've actually seen you do a character before though. Not during stand-up though. It was, I think you used to do, wasn't it some sort of like Italian pasta kind of thing? What was it? Well, do you know what I'm talking about? It was like you used to do like these little mini like short thing, or it might have been one video.
I made a short, like, remember those masterclass commercials?
Yes, that's what it was. That's what it was.
Yeah, for Italian comedy.
Yes.
Yeah. If you go on YouTube, masterclass Italian comedy, I play Tony. Nobody goes to the bathroom. Calabrese.
That's what it was. I remember watching that because the girl I was dating at the time, she was Italian. She still is. And she converted, and she was like super Italian. I remember I was watching that, and she was cracking up more than I was, because I'm like, oh, that's Joe being funny. But I think she understood like even more so than I would.
Yeah, because Italian, a lot of Italian comics have those same. I mean, it's just, same stereotypes. Like that nickname came off I opened for this Italian comic one time who actually said that to me. He's like, one time I did 2 hours straight, nobody went to the bathroom. And then he was like such a dick, and then that night after telling us, he actually wasn't doing that well on stage.
Oh no.
The other opener were sitting there and we're like, and people are getting up like, look at everybody's going to the bathroom. He was just awful.
Are there any comics that you haven't been in a lineup with that you've been like really wanting to just like, you're like, if I can get on a card with this dude, man, it would just be a good night, or woman?
You mean people that I want to perform with?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's weird. It's like I get too much anxiety when I have to perform with like my idols. Like I got to open for Colin Quinn one time, which was one of my favorite. Like it was just, it was nerve wracking for me because I'm like, I've been watching this guy forever.
Right.
I love Tough Crowd with Colin Quinn. I just love everything he does. And I'm driving to the gig. I'm like, your material's dog shit. This is gonna be embarrassing. And then I'm like, what do you even say when you meet him? So I get to the club and I'm there first. I'm like, all right, I'd rather him walk in on me than me walk in and feel uncomfortable. At least I'm established. I can get my anxiety level down. And he came in and just acted like he knew me for my whole life.
Oh, that's awesome.
And it like diffused all my anxiety.
Right.
And whether he was lying or not, he told me that he liked my set. But it meant the world.
Do you think he was actually listening?
I don't know if he was actually listening. I don't even care. But him saying,
you're gonna take it, you're gonna chew it, you're gonna digest it.
I don't even. There's a good possibility he was lying, but to me, it was the best lie I ever heard. It made me feel great.
Now I see that you are also, you put yourself and your dog on the TikTok. You are on the TikTok. Do you enjoy the TikTok?
My niece has been trying to get me to do TikTok for about 2 years, and I was just like, I was like, I don't know. I'm already social media'd out. Like, I'm like
here's another one for you. Take it.
Like, here's another one to learn. It's like, but then once quarantine came, I got into it, and I'm like, I like this because it's no politics and bullshit. It's just fun, goofy. I mean, it's starting to seep in, so you're hoping they push that shit out.
Just a little bit.
But yeah, I started just having fun with it, man. It's just it's what I got. It's just fun. It's goofy fun. Like, I'm not looking to get anything out of it. I love TikToks. It's like, I'll see somebody do something silly, and I'm like, I want to try to do that something silly. Like, I had a guy accuse me of being a hack. I had a guy accuse me of being a hack. He goes, you stole that idea from somebody. I go, no, this is how TikTok works. People do it.
That's literally what everybody does.
And then I sent him like 7 or 8 videos of other people doing the same thing. I go, hey, dummy, before you accuse me of something, learn what the fucking format is.
Oh, my bad. I thought this was LinkedIn. My bad, dude.
It's like, but no, I enjoy it. I could get caught in a TikTok wormhole just watching TikToks.
Dude, that's the thing with TikTok, is that, like, I'll be like, okay, I'm going to go on for 5 minutes, and then 5 years later, I'm like, I should probably stop. It's bad. It just sucks you in, and you just keep scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, and then.
But does everyone live in a $50 million house though? That's
with no furniture. Right. They just have empty rooms where they can do their dances.
Yeah, huge houses.
I can't tell you how broke I feel, like, every single time that I log on, and I just question every choice that I've ever made. Because these people, some of these really popular TikTokers, they're like really making their living off of TikToking for 15 seconds. And it's crazy. And I'm thinking, I'm like, why did I even go to college?
Yeah. Why? It's TikTok famous is, I mean, you're good on it. I watch your things. You're good. You got like this nice, like, see, I work with an audience usually, like, you know what I mean? So like this whole, like, me in a room with my camera, my dog, like, a lot of insecurity about it. Like, I'm not getting no feedback, you know. You got you got the acting thing going, so you just. I mean, I took some acting classes. I've acted in some one-act plays, but not like you. But you can tell you got this thing. You're like, I don't need nobody. I'm having a good time here.
I am, dude. I get on there, and I honestly, I don't even think twice, dude. I'm just like, you know what? If people watch it, they watch it. If they don't, they don't. But it's just been a lot of fun, man. And I'm stoked to, like, see my friends on it and doing their thing and stuff like that. But
yeah, I got to experiment more with it for sure.
No, for sure. I'll duet you. How's that?
All right.
I'll duet you. That's called bro love right there.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, so this is a really, really exciting time for you, because you just just this past week, I think it was a couple days ago, right? You released your new album, your comedy album, Impossible Human, available on iTunes and Spotify, all of the major platforms. This is exciting. Is this your first one that's on all these platforms?
First one I ever put out. I've been thinking about doing it for a while. I wanted to do a video, like a special for YouTube, and and I thought about doing it this summer, and then this happened, and then I'm obsessive. I record a lot of my shows audio,
right,
with a lav mic, and in quarantine I was just listening to it, and I'm like, I don't know, I may want to start talking about different stuff when I come back.
Right.
So let me just put this stuff out.
Nice.
And that way, like if I'm going to start off slow and rusty, coming back from being months and months off, like let me start developing some new stuff.
That sounds like my sex life, Joe. So that's great.
Nice.
No, not at all. Oh, God.
While you're on TikTok, you're trying to develop some new stuff for your sex life.
Yeah. But this is really cool, man. So like, did you produce this yourself, or did you like all of this stuff? Like, did you compile like one night, or just like a bunch of nights and put it all on?
It was some. What it was I had a bunch of recordings. I was listening to them, and I needed quality recordings for it to go out. So that narrowed it down. I had some better recordings, but they weren't. The quality wasn't there.
Sure.
So what happened was I performed at Uncle Vinny's Comedy Club a lot.
Yeah.
So I had a bunch of recordings from like a week that I was there.
Right.
So like one joke maybe from one night, but it all kind of sound. You know, if you're like a real audiophile, you can hear the difference in the few tracks because of the size of the audience.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, I feel like when it comes down to it, it's like the joke's the joke, and you just could enjoy it for what it is.
Yeah, I can't wait to listen to it, man, because you've always been a really funny person to me. You continue to be in my life, man, and like that's exciting. I'm like really excited for you, man. This is awesome.
You know what I like about this CD is that like it was recorded on
what's a CD? What is this?
Or CD album.
What is this? 1997? What is this?
You know, people are messaging me for hard copies. I'm like, I don't have them printed, but I'm gonna get some when I go on the road. People actually still buy them.
Really?
My stepson buys old CDs on the internet to have collections, have a hard copy. Like kids are collecting CDs, like people do, like my age do vinyl. Like
I will gladly give him most of mine because I'm pretty sure I have now. That's what I call music 1 through 10.
Yeah, but people do. I think sometimes people like something tangible, especially if they see you live.
Right.
Like I've seen friends with download cards, and there's people like in a certain age bracket that don't trust the download card. They're like, wait, what do I got to do? Am I going to give away all my information? All right, just give me the disc.
That's how the Russians get you.
But what I like about this album is that I didn't know it was going to be for this. Right. So it's just a night at the club where I'm loose and doing crowd work mixed. Where I feel like if I did a recording night, I would have been a little tighter. I got to get my bits out perfect.
Right.
I find this to be a more loose set and probably more representative of what you'd see if you saw me live.
Right. Are there, and I'm curious because, and this is something I wanted to ask you before. So like, are there any comedians that are out right now that are, well, not right now, but just like over the last year or 2 years that have emerged or really started to, take off, that you're like, wow, that is a good stand-up comedian. Like that is quality shit right there.
Let's see. Some of my favorites of new comics that are, I mean, there's comics that have started way after. I mean, like, what was it? What's Mark Norman? That dude is just one of the. He's like, just writes the best jokes. He just writes such really good jokes. You're like, damn, I got to step my game up. Like, like you like your jokes, but he's just got like rapid fire punchlines. Sure. He's someone that I love to listen to. But I'm trying to. There's so many good comics today. There really is. There's never been a time where there's so many good comics.
Right. And here's the really interesting thing, and I wanted to get your take on this. So one of the great things about living in this century is that I guess stand-up comedy has never been this accessible before. From YouTube to Spotify to Netflix, and all of these streaming services that are putting out, stand-up comedy, and now it's so accessible. And I'm curious, do you ever find yourself watching a lot of these just to kind of like get an idea of what's out there, or do you just kind of like just stay in your lane and just put some blinders on, I guess?
I don't watch a ton of specials. I don't know. There's something about like listening to I'll listen to people on like, Apple Music or Spotify. Right. There's something about the audio where I can put myself in the club.
Right.
And feel like I feel like it doesn't come over as well on a TV screen. You know what I mean? Like where I feel if I'm listening to it, I'm like almost in that club atmosphere.
Right.
I mean, there's some specials I'll watch of like the big name acts that that I know. Like there's just, I feel like there's certain people that are made for specials, like video, like Sebastian Maniscalco.
Right.
He's such like a performer. like if I was ever to do a special, I'd like to work on my performance ability before, like the use of the stage, because I perform on very small stages. I don't move a lot.
Right,
I find that would be very boring on TV. You know what I mean?
Some people can rock it, man. Whose special did I just watch? What's the guy? The guy from SNL. What's his name? Young guy. His dad passed away in 9/11.
Pete Davidson.
Pete Davidson. I just watched his special. He is just still the entire time, just like still.
No, I'm not saying you could do it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, you know, I hear from people that they're like you ask people like, oh, did you see? So like, oh, I saw so and so. These are regular people, not comedians.
Right.
Have you seen so and so special?
Regular people.
So like, I saw the first 15 minutes. Or I watched it for a half hour.
Right.
Like, no one ever says they've watched it for the whole hour. So you're like, is it even a thing anymore for like young people? Like, I feel like everyone's like, just give me 10 minutes. I'm good. We're gonna start having 10-minute Netflix specials.
But you know what? Probably. Given the direction that I feel like society is going at this point, I wouldn't put it past that to happen, because I think there's a new streaming service out right now called like Quibi or something like that, where it's all 10-15 minute TV shows. You know, I wouldn't put it past for 10-minute comedy specials. Why not?
No, I mean they're doing it. Netflix has like a series of 10-minute sets.
Right.
Of I forget what the name of the series is, but I bet it's going to go even quicker than that. You're gonna.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I think wasn't there something like on Comedy Central, like Premium Blend?
Yeah.
Where they used to do like. You'd almost get like 2 jokes from the comic and then move on to the next one.
Right. I used
to
watch it back in the day, man. That was some good stuff, dude. Oh my gosh, dude, I'm so happy for you, man. And wait, well, one more quick thing. So you have a podcast that where can, if people want to, or they're watching right now, they want to get more Joe Fernandes, what can they do?
Well, on all the podcasting platforms, iHeartRadio, iTunes, Stitcher, anything you get, everywhere you can get a podcast. We have the All in Our Heads podcast. It's me and my buddy Mike Gaffney, 2 comics, and we just talk about. We used to talk about like our previous weekend and what we did on the road, and like a funny story or about our comedy careers. Now we're just trying to pull shit out of the air. We're not on the road, but we're still talking about our lives. It's just. Like, we like to sell it as, like, it's just 2 comics having a conversation we would have had anyway.
Sure. Yes.
Recording it.
Right. That's so cool, man. And once again, your comedy album, it's out now, Impossible Human, iTunes, Spotify, Tidal, Apple Music. It is on all of that. Joe, I'm so happy that you got to sit with me today, man. Like, honestly, thank you for the time. It's nice to see you, man.
Kyrus, I want to hang out off Zoom one day. We got to like go out for some food and really catch up.
Yes, you know like for real. Like once it's safe to be around people again.
We are doing it. 'Cause I want to talk to you about. I started doing some theater acting before all this, and that's your game. And I want to chew your ear off about it.
I'm in, man. You're talking. I literally have 2 of my tattoos are from theatrical productions. So yeah, let's talk about it.
Awesome, buddy.
Joe, thank you again. Everybody else, if you want some more of Joe, you can watch his All in the Head podcast. You can also you can get his new album. It's on the streaming on Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes, Tidal. It's called Impossible Human. It is out now. Check it out. This man is a funny man. You will not regret it. Joe, thank you so much. Everybody else, if you want more of Vibe with Kai, you can follow me at The Vibe with Kai on Facebook and Instagram. And you can also follow me on Snapchat and on TikTok at Kyrus Keenan. And you can get your Vibe with Kai merchandise at thevibewithkai.com. You can also read some blogs and videos about how you can live a good life full of good vibes. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you again for watching, and good vibes.